Hello. Welcome back if you are here again for the third or second time. And if you are here for the first time, also welcome. And today we'll be talking about managing debts. If you are here and you're looking for strategies on how you can pay your debts quicker, then you are at the right place. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it. I'm going to start by going through some terms that relates to debt finance. Then from there, I'll show you a few tips and few strategies that you can use in order to pay your debts quicker. All right, so without wasting time, let's just dive in. All right, I'm sure, okay, let me start by welcoming those who are here. I see Innocentia is here, Leroy is here, welcome. And then I know there's people also who are watching us from YouTube, welcome there as well. If you are on YouTube, please also comment, and then I'll just holler at you. And also later on, I'll be taking some questions if you have any questions. And also if you are watching this video as a replay, leave your question on the comments below and I'll attend to it. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard a lot about repo rate and the prime rate, and then you were asking yourself what is the difference between the repo rate and the prime rate. All right, so yeah, let's just get into it. The repo rate is the rate at which South African Reserve Bank lends money to other banks. So what happens is that, for example, when you go to the bank and to apply for a loan, that money is not there waiting for you. So what happens is the banks like FNB, Capitec or Standard Bank, they borrow that money from Reserve Bank, and the Reserve Bank charge them interest. So that interest is called the repo rate. So, yeah, so that's how it works. And then the prime lending rate is the rate of interest. Is the rate of interest that commercial banks will charge their clients when issuing a loan, such as vehicle finance or a home loan. So the prime rate, when you apply for maybe a vehicle finance or home loan, the bank will charge you a prime rate. Remember, Reserve Bank charges the bank a repo rate, and then the bank will charge you the prime rate. So let's look at those rates. Let me show you those rates. So that you can understand. Okay, let me come out of Facebook here. All right, if you look here, the current repo rate is 3.75. so this is the rate that the Reserve Bank charges the bank when they borrow the money. And then when you borrow money from the bank, for example, when you apply for car finance or the home loan, the bank will charge you the prime rate. Currently it's 7.25. That's the current rate. But actually that's not the rate that they charge you. So they can add anything over and above, but they use this as a base. If they say, for example, that they are financing you at prime plus 3% currently, let's look at the current rate. So it means that they will finance you at 10.25%. That's what they mean. Yeah, that's how that's how the prime rate affects you. So yeah, let's move on. Okay, perfect. Okay. And I'm sure you've also heard about fixed interest rate and a variable interest rate. So what is the difference between the two? Between the fixed rate and a variable rate? A fixed rate loan has the same interest for the entirety of the borrowing period, while the variable rate loans have an interest rate that changes over time. Say, for example, they finance you, they say they're giving you a fixed rate, maybe let's say when you buy a car, of 15% over the period of 5 years, which is 60 months. It means that your rate will stay at 15% for the whole 60 months, for the whole 5 years, because you've taken a fixed rate, irrespective of whether there's a change in prime rate or not. But if you have taken a variable rate is linked to the prime that we were talking about. Let's say this, the bank has financed you at prime plus 3%, for example. Remember the current prime rate is 7.25. If they finance you at prime plus 3%, it means they finance you at 10.25%. So if there's a change in the prime rate, it will also affect your installment. For example, if they say to you that maybe the governor has announced that he's decreasing the prime rate by 0.5 basis. When 0.5 basis means by 0.5%, and by 100 basis means by 1%. If for example they say that they are reducing the prime rate by 0.5 basis, it means your interest rate will decrease by 0.5%. And also that will also affect your installment, which means your installment will reduce as well in according to what they've reduced. Let me show you an example of the history. Let's look at the history of what the prime rate was. Open this one. Okay. Let's look at the history of the lending rates. Okay. As you can see here, the current rate is 7.25, which changed from 22nd of May 2020. So, and then also changed again on the 15th of April. Let's look at it from January. So if you are on the variable rate, it means that your installment on your vehicle has changed 4 times already this year. Remember, in January the prime rate was 9.75. Then it was decreased by 100 basis points, which is 1%, from 9.75 to 8.75, which means that your installment decreased when they changed it. Then they changed it again on the 15th of April. They decreased it again by 100 basis points. So they decreased it by 1%. So again, your installment, I'm sure if you are on the variable rate, you would have noticed that your installment had decreased as well. And then last month on the 22nd of May, they also reduced it to 7.25. Again, your installment reduced on your vehicle or maybe your home loan if you got it on the variable. But if you are on a fixed rate, nothing has changed. Your installment will stay the same, irrespective of whether the prime rate has decreased or increased. Your installment rate will stay the same for the whole borrowing period because you've taken a fixed rate. So in this case, if you are on a fixed rate, you see you've lost on interest here because the interest rates have decreased 4 times already, and then those who are having a prime lending rate have enjoyed the benefits while you were on the same rate throughout the period. So yeah, I'm sure you understand now how it works. I see Harrison is here as well. Welcome, man. Okay, let's move on. All right, so what is debt? When you owe money to someone, you are in debt. So you might have a loan, you might use a credit card. If you do, then you are in debt. So that's what debt is. If you are owing someone, like the bank, or it can be a creditor. A creditor is someone that you owe. If you are owing anything, then you are in debt. That's what debt is. So when is debt good and when is debt bad? So yeah, that's a good question that you need to ask yourself. And then a good debt is a type of debt that builds. Let me move it forward. A good debt, is the type of debt that builds wealth over the long term, leaving you better off than you were. Think of it as an investment. For example, if you apply for a student loan, for example, you know that in the long term it will help you to earn better income because you would obtain a qualification. So that will call it a good debt. If also maybe you are a musician, you buy an instrument. That instrument, you can use it. You can also charge your client as well for the instrument. So that will also be an example of a good debt. Also, if you, for example, you obtain a home loan. A home loan is also a good debt because remember, after a few years after a few years, maybe a few years from now, maybe 5 years from now, the property that you would have bought would have increased in value. So when you sell it, you will sell it more than what you've obtained it for. So that will also be a good debt in terms of debt. Yeah, so that will be a good debt. And also, when you buy a vehicle, let's say you're buying a delivery van for business purposes, remember that van will also generate you income. So that is also a good debt. So debt is not always bad. There's also a good debt as well. Debt is bad when you owe money you cannot pay back. That is very bad, because you'll get debt collectors to phone you and you may be blacklisted. So that's when the debt becomes bad. So you need to make sure that you pay your debt on time. Then also try as much as possible to pay your minimum payments. Then you'll have a good credit record. How to manage your debts. So yeah, now we're going to go through a few steps on how you can manage your debt. And later on, I'll also leave spreadsheets for you that you can use to plan your way out of debt. Or maybe to pay your debt quicker before time. So yeah, I'll leave those spreadsheets, and also show you an app that you can purchase from App Store. That is similar to what I'll be showing you. The first step, of course, is to know who you owe money to and how much. That's the first step. Write down everything that you owe. It's very important. Have a budget. Like on your budget, write down like the balances. Write the balances that you owe, the installment, and the interest rate. It's very important to understand those three. You need to understand the cost of your debt. You need to know how much interest you are paying on your debt, so that you'll be able to plan properly your exit in debt. That's step number one. Step number two, create a budget. A budget can be a simple spreadsheet. Let me show you an example of a budget. Okay, not this one. Okay, I'm showing you a budget now. Okay. You can download the budget from Vertex 24, called the personal budget spreadsheet. So in this spreadsheet, you'll have your income. First, you'll have your income, less all your monthly expenses. Then from there, you'll have the surplus, the balance that you can either save towards your savings, or maybe you can also create an emergency fund. You can take that to your emergency fund. But it's very important to understand how much income you receive, what are your monthly repayments, and then from there how much is left from your account, so that you can see whether you are over indebted or not. Okay, let's move forward. You must let me know if I'm moving fast. All right, the next step is to know your debt to income ratio. What do we mean by that? What is a debt to income ratio? Let us look at the amount of debt you have compared to the income when extending credit. So it's a good idea to keep your debt to income ratio under 35%. So what we mean by that is that your repayments, your monthly repayments, must be 35% or less compared to your total income. Let's say, for example, you're earning 10,000 a month, or your income is 10,000 a month. So which means your repayments must not exceed 3,500 per month. That's when you have a good debt to income ratio. Okay, the formula to calculate your debt to income ratio is that you're going to take all your monthly debt repayments, all your installments, add them up, Then from there, you're going to calculate your monthly income. And then from there, you're going to take your monthly debt payments total divided by your monthly income, multiply by 100 in order to get your debt to income rate percentage. So let's say your monthly debt is 3,500. That's number one. Your total income is 10,000. That's number two. So you're going to take 1 divide by 2. So it's 3,500 divide by 10,000 multiply by 4, which is multiply by 100. Then you'll get 35%. Then that will be your debt to income ratio. All right. You guys still there? Let me see who's here. Okay. Thanks. I see Polangin is here. Thanks you for joining. Okay, let's move forward. You must let me know if I'm moving too fast. And then get out of debt by changing your behavior. All right. So first thing you need to do is to change your behavior towards debt. That's number one. That's number 4. So as you know, we all sometimes blame our salaries for our debts, saying maybe that our salaries is not enough to pay. That's why we are in debt. It's not our salary or your income. It's in most cases it's your behavior. If you can change your behavior towards debt, you will be able to come out of debt. For example, know how much you earn and know how much you can afford. So don't go beyond your income. Spend beyond your income, because you will not be able to pay. Otherwise, you'll find yourself into a debt trap. So try to spend within your means. That's what that's what I'm referring to when I say get out of debt by changing your behavior. You must change your behavior towards your debt. Also, if you've got a credit card, for example, don't use your credit card to pay your daily bills. Credit card is only for emergency. Try and use it maybe if you want to fix your car, or maybe you want to buy an equipment of some sort. Only use it then. Don't use it for your daily goods, because otherwise you'll end up exhausting your credit card and with nothing to show on what you use, because all of your daily goods, remember, you consume them daily. So you would have finished your limit on credit card and be left with the interest to pay. So you must always watch that. Don't use your credit card for your daily goods, only for emergency. And then find ways to earn extra income. That's number 5. What we mean by that is that if you are working, for example, and you want to have extra income in order to be able to pay your debt, ask for overtime at work. If you are qualified, maybe you are good in some subject, become a tutor at a local school. That's one of the things you can do. And then if you've got goods that you are not using at home and that you can sell them, then pay your debt. You see, that's what it means. And if you are a musician, maybe you know how to play instruments, teach others have tutorial lessons, and teach those who want to learn instruments. Then you can have extra income to pay towards your debt. Okay, let's move forward. Sorry about that. Okay. And then use your tax refund to pay off your debt. A lot of people are under this misconception that a tax refund is actually free money. No, it's not free money. It's actually money that you've overpaid during the year. So if you have that opportunity to get a tax refund, use that money to pay towards your debt. Maybe pay towards your credit card, for example, because remember, credit card in most cases has the highest interest rate, usually between 18 to 22%. So if you get a tax refund, since you didn't expect how much you're going to earn, take that money and put it towards your credit card. Use it. Use your tax refund to pay off your debt. And then plan your exit strategy. There are 3 ways that I'm going to show you on how to plan your exit strategy. Number 1 is to pay extra towards your bond. An extra 500 or an extra 300 or 1,000 towards your bond makes a huge difference. Number 1, it will reduce your term. Number 2, it will save you interest. Let me show you a scenario here on using the Standard Bank home calculator. All right, let's go there. I'll show you now. Yeah. Let's say you've got a bond for 450,000. Remember, the payment term is 20 years. And then say you decide to put in an extra 1,000 rand towards your bond. Let me show you what happens there. You see, the normal your normal monthly repayment on the bond for 450,000 will be 4,343. If you put an extra 1,000 rand, then you'll end up paying 5,343. So your number one, you've reduced your term loan from 20 years to 13 years. So you're going to finish your bond 7 years earlier. And number two, you're going to save interest of 263,024 by putting an extra 1,000 rand. Let's put an extra 500 rand as well, so that you can see that it doesn't have to be much. An extra 500 rand will also save you 5 years of bond in your bond term. So you'll pay your bond 5 years earlier, and you'll save interest of 173,404. So it is important that if you have a bond, put something extra there, then you'll finish it quicker. Like as I'm saying, it doesn't have to be much. Even 300 rand makes a difference. Let me show you that. An extra 300 rand will reduce your term by 3 years. But also remember that it varies per the value of the bond, and yeah. But you can use this calculator to check on what you can save. Okay, let's move forward. The second method is called a snowball method. Okay, let's look. I'm going to show you a snowball method and an avalanche method. So what snowball method does is you start by paying off your smallest debt first. Once you have finished paying off the smallest debt, you take that whatever you've been paying there, and then you add it to your next smaller debt. Say for example, you've got an outstanding balance of 1,000 rand, and you are paying 100 rand there. And then the next balance, it's maybe 800 rand. It's I'd say 1,500, and then you are paying maybe 900 there. So the smallest debt there is 1,000, and you are paying 800. As soon as you are finished with that 1,000, you're going to take that 800 installment and add it to your next smaller installment. That's how snowball method works. I'll show you an example shortly. And then avalanche method is almost similar, but in this case, you start by paying your credit or your loan that has the highest interest rate. That's the difference between the two. Let me show you by example. Yeah, let's look at this scenario here. Let me close this one. I hope you can all see. All right, I'm using this simple example. You can also get this from Vertex 24, but there's something similar to this from Vertex 24, but I'll leave links below after this session. So after this session, I want you to go and take all your monthly, your statements, all your debts. Get the statements from all your debts, and then on the date here, just put in 2020-05-01. If you have balances maybe for the end of May, we put in for the end of May last month. Then please list all your debts as follows. Okay, for example, let's use this as a scenario. This person has a credit card. He owes 14,327, and the interest rate on the credit card is 18% there. And then he also has a vehicle finance, which is left with a balance of 92,000, and then he was financed at 14%, and then the interest, the repayment of the vehicle is 3,200. And then he also, okay, let me take out the bond for now so that you can understand it easier, then we'll add the bond later. Okay, and then he's got the clothing account. He owes the clothing account 4,000, and then the interest rate on the clothing account is 22%, and then the minimum repayment on the clothing account is 400. So the personal loan account also owes a personal loan. You took a personal loan of 20,000 and then it was financed at 26%, and then the repayment on the loan is 800. So without the snowball method, let me show you. Without any method, so this person from all these finances, from between now May until they are finished, is going to pay interest of 35,989. That's the interest, just the interest on those loans and credit cards. So remember I said with the snowball method, you're going to pay your smallest debt first. So if we look at this table here, our smallest debt is a clothing account. So which means if you were putting them in order, you're going to start with this one to pay off. Once you are finished with this one, you're going to move over to the credit card. From the credit card, you're going to move to your personal loan, and then to your from your personal loan, you're going to finish off by paying your vehicle. Okay. Let me make this clear. Remember, as you for example, if when I say that you start by paying the smallest debt first, it doesn't mean that you don't pay the other ones. You still pay the minimum required to be paid on the other ones. That's what I mean. Then okay, let's choose the snowball method. Then I'll show you the example. Snowball. If you look at the snowball method here, like I said, you remember the smallest debt was okay. Let me remove this first. The smallest debt is a clothing account. So you're going to pay 400 until it's finished. Once it's finished, you're going to move it over to, okay, let me put the snowball. Okay, the amount that is for the total repayment. Sorry, it's for the total repayments here. It's for, I must put that first here, 4829.81. Yeah, that's the total repayment. But if you're not putting anything extra towards your repayment. So yeah, like I said, you're going to pay your clothing account first. Once it's finished, you're going to move it over to your credit card. Remember, you've been paying $429 on your credit card. So once you've finished with your clothing account, you're going to take that 400 and add it towards your credit card. Okay. Then you pay the credit card and finish the credit card. Once you finish your credit card, you're going to take whatever you've been paying on your clothing account and your credit card and add it to your personal loan. You see. Then from there, once you finish your personal loan, you're going to take whatever you've been paying on your clothing account, on your credit card, and your personal loan, and you're going to add all of them to your vehicle installment. So let me show you the difference here on what the snowball method does. Let's say there was no snowball. You see, if there was no snowball, it was gonna take you that minimum installment. It's gonna take you 47 months to pay for your credit card. That was going to be your latest time. But if you are using a snowball method, you see, you will finish all your debts in 34 months instead of 47 months. That's what snowball method does too. Let's say we had a bond. Let me show you an example of the bond. 445,000. Let's say you've got a bond of 445,000, which is financed at 10%, and then the installment, let's say it's for, what can I say, 4,300 maybe. So your total repayments here is now changing to 9129.81. You see here, your bond without the snowball method. Let me remove the snowball method. Without the snowball method, you will finish your bond almost 20 years, I think. Okay, Yeah, I think because I put a small repayment, yeah, but it's fine. You say you finish your bond in 258 months. So in total, with everything, without the snowball, you'll be paying interest of 618,000. A lot of interest goes towards the bond. If you look here, where's the bond? Remember you bought the property for 445,000, but you will pay interest on the bond of 582,000. So you are paying more than double the price of the house by taking a bond over a period of 20 years. But if you are using a snowball method, watch what happens. So you'll finish your bond in 112 months instead of how much was it? Instead of 259 months. So you are saving how many years then? Let me calculate for you. So it's 259. If you are using a snowball method, you are paying it over minus 112. By 12. So you are paying it 12 years before time if you are using a snowball method. And your interest, remember, is now 269,000. So you've saved over almost 300,000 of interest if you are using a snowball method. So nothing changes. Remember here, we are not changing, you are not paying anything extra. You pay whatever you've been paying, but now you are paying it in a different method. You start by paying your smallest debt first, then from there you take whatever you've been paying on that small debt and move it to the smaller debt, and so on and so on and so on until it's finished. Nothing's changed. You still pay the total amount that you've been paying. So, but watch what happens. Let's say you instead of paying 9,200 or 9,100, you decide to pay a total of 10,000 using a snowball method. So you are paying it 870 extra. So that also will reduce. You see, it reduced your bond to 100 months, and also saved you interest. You saved over 40,000 interest because you've added an extra 800 towards your snowball method. I hope you all understand that method. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so you reduce your bond from 259 months until up to 100. So you saved a lot of months here. 159 months over just 12 years. And then like I said, the avalanche method, what it does is you start by paying the higher interest loan first. Then once you finish with that one, you move to the next higher interest loan, and so on until they are finished. So this method actually makes sense because remember, you pay on the loan, you pay more on the interest. So if you use an avalanche method, you save a bit of interest as opposed to the snowball method. But it's not that much, but it's still money. Okay, let's look at the avalanche method. 912181. The avalanche method. Okay, let me take out the bond again here, just to make it simple. So yeah, if you're using the avalanche method as well, you will pay interest of 14,000. You see, you've saved interest. So if you compare the avalanche method and the snowball method, on the snowball method, you pay 14,554, and then the avalanche method, you pay 14,147. So you save about 500 rand 500 worth of interest. So that's, as I said, it's not that there's not much difference, but it's still money. At the end of the day, it's money that you can use it to pay something else or to buy something. Yeah, so I don't know if you've got any questions regarding these methods. Let me see. Okay, let's see what it says here. Look at the comments. Okay, let me look at the comments before I show you the app. What must that do? He says, in case where you have a car and a house, which debt must I focus on first? If you are using a snowball method, obviously your vehicle will be a smaller debt compared to your home loan. So you'll pay your car first before you can pay your home loan. But it also depends if your car, because some people would buy cars which have values which are more than their houses. So yeah, if that's the other way around, then you do the same. You start by paying your smallest balance first, then move over to your next balance. Harrison, tax refund is not for spoiling yourself. If you have debts, yes, if you have debts, please don't use your tax refund for spoiling yourself or going on holiday. Just pay your debt first, then you can do those later. Let's see. Okay, let's recap. Before I show you the app that you can use. Then on the methods you can use. Remember, I said there are two methods you can use. The first one is a snowball method. With the snowball method, what you do is you start by paying off your smallest balance first. Once you are done paying that, you take whatever you've been paying from the smallest balance and move it to your next smaller balance until you finish all your debts. Like for instance, this example here. This person here has a credit card that he owes 14,327, and the minimum payment is 429, and he also has a vehicle of 92,000, and the minimum payment is 3,002. Also has a clothing account of 4,000, which he pays 400 a month, and a personal loan of 20,000, which he pays 800 a month. So if you are using a snowball method, you will start by paying off the clothing account, because if you can see here, it's the smallest balance, and then from there you will move to your credit card, then from your credit card you move to your personal loan, and from your personal loan you move to your vehicle. So the total repayments, as you can see, is 4,829. So you change this amount here to be the same, 4,829.81. So without a snowball method, this person pays interest of 35,989. As you can see, the longest time to pay the debt is 47 months, which means you will be debt free after 47 months if you are not using any method. You are applying whatever the bank tells you to pay. But if you are using a snowball method, so instead of paying for 47 months, you'll be debt free in 34 months. Because, as I've said, you start by paying off your credit card. Once you are finished with the credit card, you will take that 400 and put it over to your credit card. So your credit card installment will increase from 429 to 770, then to 829, because you take the 459 rand here. Then once you are finished with your credit card, You will take whatever you've been paying on your credit card and add it to your next debt, which is your personal loan. So your installment will increase from 800 to 1488. Then once you are finished with your personal loan, you will move it over to your vehicle. Then then you pay your vehicle. You pay your vehicle in 34 months. Because remember, if there was no snowball method, your vehicle would have been paid off in 37 months, but now you'll be paid off in 34 months. So you'll be debt free in 34 months if you're using a snowball method. The same thing applies if you are using the avalanche method. Remember, there you start by paying the one with the higher interest. In this case, the personal loan is the one with high interest, so you pay your personal loan first. Let's look at it here. See, you'll pay your personal loan first because it's the one with higher interest with the avalanche method. Do I make myself clear? Hope you guys are following. Tepolekura says H snowball method. I thought I can chow the money for the debt I finished. Now I have to carry it over to another loan. Yeah, you can chow it once you finish all your debts. Remember, the reason why you are moving it over is because, remember, you are used to paying that amount, the total amount. So it makes sense for you to, after you finish one debt, move it over to a next debt, because you have that on your budget. You used to paying, if you've been paying 4,000, so you are used to pay 4,000. So you maintain whatever you've been paying, irrespective of whether you finish the other debts. So in that way, you'll pay your debts quicker. That's why snowball method works, because you've been paying what you've been paying all this time. It's not like you've borrowed money somewhere to pay, but you are just moving around of what you've been paying all along. Can I please get the template, please? Yes, I'll post it after this session here. You have it. Okay, let me show you an app that you can use. Okay, it's the same thing. I'll show you now. Okay, there's an app called Debt Free Pay Off Your Debt. It's available in the App Store for $14.99. Okay, let me show you. It has snowball method and avalanche method as well. So what you do is, I use the same example here. Let me remove the bond. I used exactly the same example. So to add your debt, you're going to click on the plus. Then that's where you put in your account name, maybe what was the initial loan amount, the remaining balance on your loan, the interest rate, and your minimum monthly payment. So that's why I was saying that it's important that you understand the cost of your debt, because you need to know your loan amount, you need to know what's your interest rate, you need to know what is your minimum payment in order for you to be able to work out your cost of debt. So in this example, as I've said, they've got a clothing account. The loan amount, for example, was 4,000, and then the interest rate is 22%, and then the monthly payment is 400. Okay, and then the next debt was a credit card. The outstanding amount on the credit card is 14,327. It's got a personal loan of 20,000 and a vehicle of 92,000. So if you are using a snowball method, as you can see, it sorted them in order. You will start by paying off your clothing account of 4,000 balance. Then you move to your credit card. Then from there you pay off your personal loan, and then from there you pay off your vehicle. Show you. Okay, let's look at it in You see, as I was saying, you pay your clothing account 400, 400, 400, then it will finish in May. Once you finish it, as you can see here on the credit card, you've been paying 429, 429, but from June, you're adding whatever you've been paying on the credit card. So installment increases from 425 to 829. So you took that 400 that you've been paying from the credit card to this, from your personal loan to your credit card. From your clothing account to credit card, sorry. And then from there, you'll move over to your personal loan. Also, you've been paying 800, up until you finish off your credit card. So you're going to take whatever you've been paying on your clothing account and your credit card. In September, your installment will increase from 800 to 1,400. So in total, on your debts, where is that summary? Yeah, in this one you will pay them 4 months earlier because I use small amounts. The only time you'll see a major difference is when you use big amounts. That's when you will see how much interest you are saving. So these methods actually help in you to pay off your debt quicker. Number one, remember you'll benefit by paying less interest, and then you'll finish your debt quicker. So yeah, before I wrap up, let's look at the comments. Okay, let's see. Okay, Kusana goes rather pay your debts than accumulating debt. That's true. Yeah, I don't know if you have any questions. I don't see comments which are questions here. Any questions? Okay, but one said it was clear. What is the name of the app again? Okay, I'll show you now. It's called Debt Free. Let me show you. This is the app. Debt Free, pay off your debt. And if you buy the bundle, I think it's 48 rands 99. You also get a budget as a budget calculator, so you can track your expenditure on a daily basis. Okay, which says thanks, okay, you are welcome. Okay, let's recap for the last time before I let you go. Okay, remember I said the first method is that you have to know who you owe money to and how much. Start by listing all your debts, and then the information that you need to know is how much you owe, what is the interest rate, and what is the minimum installment. also maybe for argument's sake, you also need to know the term of how many months remaining in order for you to finish the loan. That's one thing. That's the first thing that you need to identify. Know who you owe money to and how much. And the next step is to create a budget. You need to create your monthly budget. Take your income minus all your monthly repayments. Then from there you'll know whether you over indebted or not. And then you'll be able to plan accordingly as well. Then know your debt to income ratio. Your debt to income ratio, remember, you take all your minimum, your monthly installments. Let's say your installment is 3,500, and then you divide it by your income. Let's say your income is 10,000. So if you take 3,500 divide by 10,000, your debt to income ratio is 35%, which is a good debt to income ratio. Anything above that, then you know that you've got too much debt. Try and cut your debts, because that's what your lenders look at as well when you apply for finance. Okay, there's a formula there which I've explained. So like I get out of debt by changing your behavior. So change your behavior towards your debt. Stop blaming your income or stop blaming your salary. Don't spend more than what you earn. Then you'll be okay. Find ways to earn extra income. Like I said, if you have got talent, if you are a singer, you can join a band, earn extra income. If you are good in a specific subject, join a university and be a tutor there, you'll earn extra income. So there are various ways of which you can earn extra income. If you can, you just need to apply your mind. Then you'll be here. Then you'll find what you are good at and earn extra income. You don't have to do something illegal in order to earn extra income. Use what you have. As I said, if maybe you've got goods that you can sell that you're not using, just sell them and pay off your debt. Use your tax refund to pay off your debt. This one is straight to the point. And then plan your exit strategy. And the first way I showed you is what happens if you put extra towards your bond, like an extra 300 or an extra 500. That will reduce your term as well. And then you can also either use a snowball method or avalanche method, which we've been working on. And then from there, okay, this is explanation. Once you've paid all your debts, you can reward yourself. Then you can go on holiday if you want to go on holiday. You can buy yourself nice stuff, but don't take extra credit unless it's necessary. Maybe you are buying a vehicle or you are buying a house. Don't use your credit card, as I said, for your groceries or for your daily goods. Maybe you're buying lunch at work with your credit card. Stop that, because you'll pay a lot of interest from there. Well, let's see if I have any questions, then I can call it a night. Okay, looks like everyone understood. Like I said, I'll leave links on this blog for those who need these spreadsheets, and please start using them. And once you tell yourself that you want to get out of that, please stick to it. Be disciplined, discipline yourself. Then you will see the benefits. I'm not saying debt is bad. Like I said, there's a good debt. Even if it's a good debt, pay it before time. Use a snowball or avalanche method. In that way, you won't find yourself in trouble. Tapolekora is asking, is the house really an investment? Yes, it is, because remember, it increases in value. Even if you are paying a bond, let's say you're paying over 20 years, you don't have to pay the bond for 20 years. Even after 7 years, you might find out that whatever you're owing the bank is less than what you can get if you were to sell a house. Hence, we are calling it an investment. Unlike a vehicle, once you buy a car, the time it leaves the dealership, the value has depreciated. And when you go back there, they will tell you, they will give you maybe 40,000 rands less than what you bought it for. That's why a vehicle is not regarded as an investment. Extra income is the way to go nowadays. Yes, it is. All right. Thank you guys for joining. I shall see you sometime next week. I will let you know what we'll be discussing next week. And thank you so much. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.